Hey guys, what's up? This is Jesse from Hayes Games, and this is part 4 of the tutorial series on how to make a quiz game in Unity. Alright, so if you guys just show up to this video, this is your first time in the series, please go check out the first video. That's your starting point. Also, if you guys like the content that I'm bringing you, please like, please subscribe, and please check out my apps down in the description below. They're free for both the Google Play Store as well as the iOS App Store. It would really mean a lot to me. Okay, so with that out of the way, in this video today we are going to be creating a scene manager. So we're going to create an empty game object. We're going to name it scene manager, and we're going to attach a scene manager script to it. And this script is going to be responsible for changing our scenes in Unity. That way we can load up new questions with new sets of answers. We're also going to be using coroutines in this video, and that's going to help create a little delay in between our scenes. Okay, so let's get started. Alright guys, so everyone should have their project opened, and in the last video we created a game manager object. So we created an empty object, named it game manager, and then attached our game management script to it, and this was in control and responsible for collecting our correct answers. Alright, so we can collect a correct answer and store it. However, we have no way to change to the next scene. So we can load a new question and a new set of answers. So just like creating an empty game object for our game manager, we are going to right click over here and we are going to create an empty game object, and we're going to name this game object scene manager because it is managing our scenes for us. Okay, so we called it scene manager, and now we're going to go add component, and it's going to be a new script, and we're going to name this script. We can't name it the same thing as our game object, so I'm going to name it scene management. How does that sound? So create an add. Alright, my Visual Studio popped up, and you can see our scene manager script showed up down here in our project window. So now I'm just going to grab and slide my scene manager into my scripts folder, and go to Visual Studio, and then I'm going to double click on that folder and open up my scene manager. Alright, so once again, we're not going to use the void start or void update method here. We're going to create our own function. Okay, we're going to create our own function, and we're going to call this function public void. So it's available to everyone, to all the other scripts in our scene, and it's not returning anything. And it's going to be public void load next level. Okay, and then open close parentheses and open and close curly brackets. Okay, so we created our function. Okay, but we can't quite start accessing the scene manager because by default Unity Visual Studio does not access that. So we have to go up to our namespaces here at the top, guys. Okay, so go to your namespaces, and under using Unity Engine, I want you to type in using Unity Engine. You gotta make sure you capitalize Unity, the U and the E, dot scene management. Alright, and then make sure you put your semicolon at the end. Now you can see it's grayed out because we're not actually using that yet. Okay, but once we type in scene manager down here, you will see that it will highlight up. Okay, so we're going to type in scene management, or scene manager, sorry. So scene manager dot scene dot load scene, and just type along with me, and then I'm going to explain everything. Scene manager dot get active scene and dot build index +1 semicolon. Okay, so what did I just do there? Okay guys, so our function, when the button is pressed, whether it's the correct button or the wrong button, because we're going to attach this game object to each button, it's going to run public void load next level. Now what that's going to do is it's going to access our scene manager, and it's going to be accessing the load scene of the scene manager, okay? And not the scene manager we created, but the actual scene manager that is in Unity, okay? So it's going to be accessing the load scene function of scene manager, and then it's asking us to pass in something here, okay? So now what I could have done is I could have just passed in like 1 here, and that would have loaded our it would have loaded the scene index of 1. Or you can actually pass in a string here, and the string could be like the name of your scene, okay? But I wanted to pass in the scene manager again because I wanted to get the active scene. So I wanted to get the current scene that we're on, okay? And then I wanted to get the build index of that scene and then add 1 to it. Now I know it might seem confusing right now, but maybe when we go to the build index, you'll see why this is all happening, okay? So now we can hit Control S, okay? And now let's go back into Unity, okay? And we're not done yet here, guys. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go to File, Build Settings, okay? And you can see Scenes in Build. So we have only 1 scene in our build. That's our first scene, right? So if we played the game right now, it wouldn't actually change scenes because we don't have any other scenes, okay? So let's go make another scene. So go to our scenes folder. Now we could just go up here, File, New Scene, and we can create a whole new scene and then create all our buttons and our text again. However, there's a much simpler way to do it. Since our scenes are generally going to look the same, the only thing that's going to change is the text. We can actually duplicate our scene. So let's go to our scene 1 here, highlight scene 1 and hit Control D. And you'll see what happened. It actually duplicated the scene. So the duplicated scene is actually here, scene 1-1, okay? All right, so I actually want to go to File, Scene first, File, Save, sorry, okay? And now our scene 1-1, let's open that. And you can see it's identical to the other scene, but you could tell we're on scene 1-1 by right here. It says scene 1 space 1. So I want to rename that, and I'm going to rename that to scene 2, okay? Scene 2. And now I'm going to hit ignore. Now we have scene 2, File, Save. Okay, so now we have scene 2 and scene 1. So you go to C1, and then you have scene 2, and they're the same, okay? So now on our scene 2, let's change some things here. So let's go to our question text, and let's change this question to, I'm going to say, who was the 16th president of the United States? And you can see it's not showing up because I have to make my text box a little larger. And then I want to make sure I put in a, it erased everything, sorry. All right, who was the 16th president of the United States? Question mark. Okay. All right, if you guys don't know, the 16th president was Abraham Lincoln. So I'm going to keep the second answer as the correct answer right now because I don't want to mess with that right now. So I'm just going to put Abraham Lincoln. I think I spelled that correctly. And then I'm going to go to my second answer, change that text. We'll make it something. I'm not trying to be really clever here, guys. We'll make George Washington. That's the first president, but, you know. And then the last one, I'll put John Adams. I think he was one of the earlier presidents too. Not quite sure, to be honest with you guys. But I'm not trying to create something really clever here. Just trying to create a game. Okay. All right, great. So now we can differentiate our scenes. So let's hit File, Save again. Let's go back to scene 1. Okay. All right. So now we have another scene. So Unity doesn't know, doesn't automatically add your scene to the build index. So you actually have to add it manually. So we're going to actually drag our scene 2 in here, and it will go right in there. And if you look over here, guys, you can see a 0 and a 1. So our first scene is actually, the build index is 0. And our second scene is 1. And if you add another scene, it'll be 2 and 3 and 4 and so on and so forth, okay? All right, so now we got our build index all set up. All right, now what we need to do is one more thing, guys. So now we have to attach the scene manager to each button. So go to answer 1 and then go down here, and it doesn't have anything yet. So you're going to click add to list. We're under our answer 1 button, and we're going to drag in the scene manager. And under when it says no function, we're actually going to go down to scene management, and we're going to go to load next level. Okay, and let's do it for the rest of the buttons. Now you can see our answer button, we can actually add more than one on-click event. You can add multiple on-click events, okay? And then we're going to drag our scene manager. All right, and then we're going to go down to scene management, and we're going to go to load next level. And we're going to do the same thing for answer 3. So on click, we're going to add our scene manager, and we're going to go to scene management and load next level. Okay, awesome, guys. Now we're ready. Make sure we file, save. Let's press play on the button up here. And we can click any answer, guys. So watch, let's click the wrong answer, 48. Let me see. And it switched. It worked. It loaded our next scene. And if we click it again, we haven't added the scene manager to these buttons. And when we duplicate the scene, we won't have to do this over and over again. We'll actually be able to duplicate much easier. So anyways, all right, so but you might have noticed something. Let's hit play again. And let's choose the correct answer. So it switches really fast, okay? We can't even see, or the player can't even see that they chose the correct or wrong answer, okay? So we want to create a little bit of delay, guys. So how do we do that? How do we do that? Well, I'm going to show you, okay? And it's a little convoluted, but follow along with me, okay? So we're going to open our scene manager again, okay? So we have to do something. We have to create something called a coroutine, guys, okay? And this is the way we add a delay into our into Unity, okay? So follow along with me, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing. So I'm going to take load next level here, and I'm going to actually take out public void, and I'm going to add something in called IEnumerator. And you can see it popped up here, and you can just double click IEnumerator, load next level, and I'm going to call this delay load next level, okay? So this is our coroutine we're creating, okay? But now we have to initialize our coroutine from another function, okay? So the way we're going to do that, guys, is we're actually going to go up here and write public void, and we're going to just rewrite the same one we had before, which is load next level, okay? Open and close parentheses, open and close curly brackets. All right. So now in here, we're going to initialize our, so what's going to happen is you're going to press the button. It's going to run public void load next level, which is going to be, and in here, we're going to write start coroutine. Okay. And now it's asking for a coroutine to start. So what's the coroutine we're going to start? Well, we're going to start delay load next level. So you just type in delay load next level. Make sure you spell it correctly. And then since it's a function, we have to put another open and close parentheses. And let's not forget our semicolon here. Okay. So what's happening is public void load next level is telling you to start coroutine. The coroutine is delay load next level. And then what it's going to do is it's going to load in this delay load next level. Okay. I know it seems a little tricky, but that's the way it works. Now we're going to do another thing here. And this follow along with me. The syntax is kind of strange. But in order to add a delay in, we have to put in yield return new wait 4 seconds, and then open and close parentheses, and it's asking for a value. So we could just type 1 in here, right? Make sure we put our semicolon here. And this will delay the scene for 1 second, and then it will load the next scene. But let's say we want a little more control over it, and we want to change it on the fly in the inspector without having to go back into our script and hard coding it in. Well, there's a very easy way to do that. Just like you can pass a variable like an integer in here, you can also create your own variable, okay? So let's go up here to the top, guys. This is where we declare our variables. And I want you to type in public, okay, public float. Now you're probably wondering, why didn't you use an int, Jesse? Well, an int is a whole number, right? which is fine, and we could use an int, but a float is actually a decimal. So you can create a little more accuracy. So you can have something like 0.5 seconds or 1.2 seconds or 2.6 seconds. So it just gives us a little more control. And public float, and I'm going to call this public float delay in seconds. Okay, and make sure you put your semicolon. And then you could just copy this, guys, without the semicolon, just delay in seconds, copy. And then down here, take out the 1 and then paste in the delay in seconds. Awesome. All right, so let's hit Control S, save our script. All right, now let's go back into Unity. And you know it's loading, good, awesome. Now let's go click on Scene Manager. And if you look over here, guys, now the inspector, we have our variable delay in seconds. Really cool, right? And it's initialized at 0, so it automatically gets initialized at 0. But we can change that. So let's change it to 1, okay? Now let's hit play. All right, let's hit play. All right, and let's click on an answer. And you can see, guys, see, it took about a second for it to load to the next scene. All right, and if we do it again, right now, we don't have this set up that way yet. We're gonna do that in the next video. But you can see how it creates a nice little delay. Now we could change that too, guys. All right. So we can go and we could change that. Let's change it to 0.5. Okay. And let's see how that looks. All right, 0.5. And let's click on the wrong answer. And you can see it happened a little faster, right? And you guys can mess around with that and tweak that. Make sure file save. To see, like, you know, how it feels. But it's really good now because now we just in the inspector you can see how we can be prototyping our game and messing around with values. Okay. So it's really, really, really important. Okay. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to create some more scenes, create some more questions, and then we will finish it off with creating our end screen and showing the player score. Alright guys, so stay tuned for that next video, and please like, please subscribe, and please check out my apps down in the description below. It would really mean a lot to me. Okay, see you in the next one.